With the 30th anniversary update came cooldown changes to nearly every ability, supercharge rework for all supers, and a series of buffs and nerfs to many passive abilities. In this video I want to talk about what happened to my favorite build, as people have been asking me about it. Bottom Tree Striker Titan, aka Code of the Juggernaut, received one of the harshest nerfs to the core playstyle of the class. Knockout now goes away after getting a melee defeat. As a refresher, Knockout triggers when you break an enemy's shield. Generally this means damaging a player till they are below half health, but outright one-shotting a player, like sniping them in the head, counts as long as they have shield health remaining when you landed that killing hit. After getting the perk, it would last for 6 seconds and grant an increase in melee range and damage. The perk could be reactivated if you broke another player's shield during the time, refreshing the timer back to 6 seconds. Previously, the increased melee range and damage would stack with the increased damage from the consecutive melee kills with Wormgod Caress. Stacking both perks gave the ability to one-shot a player from full health, and doing so would refresh the timer on both perks. With multiple stacks, this could even build up to killing supers in single hits. Knockout brings max melee range to the same range cap as other increases like Deadly Reach and Ophidian aspects. This max range has always been within the one-shot kill distance of the best shotguns. In addition to that, melees are not hit scan. The game is coded to make you travel the distance and physically contact the enemy player before registering a hit, leading to inconsistent registration, teleports, trades, and deaths where the melee animation lines you up for an opponent to freely shotgun you before the melee hits. In the best of the best lobbies, it is rare and difficult to land a melee at all before dying to a shotgun. All that being said, the build allowed me to run a sniper and primary while backpocketing a weaker ability shotgun with my melee. I personally used this build for a long time. If it was anything above B tier, I think it would have spread. As is, only Crimson Hero, the creator of the build, and I have shown major success with it, and I've seen minor success with the build from friends I play scrims with. After the update now, Knockout will deactivate after a melee kill. Originally, I thought this meant you could have Knockout for every other melee in a streak, similar to how it was before the Arc Week buffs, as the one-shot from Wormgod stacks would break a shield and kill at the same time. But it appears they added some delay to the perk going away, so even if you don't have Knockout and land a one-shot melee, Knockout appears for a split second and then you lose the perk, meaning you never get any use out of it in streaks. It seems like this nerf was intended to impact players rushing with Doom Marchers on a shotgun, but that playstyle feels largely unchanged given how easy it is to trigger Knockout off of shotgun damage, and then get Knockout back by further damaging targets that got hit by Doom Marcher chains. Synth-steps were arguably always the better option before, with the exception of Bottom Tree Striker, for consistent melee range and potential damage increase. Wormgod Caress gave a more consistent damage increase at the cost of having to keep Knockout active, but now that option is gone. This change opens up the option of running Wormgod Caress on Top Tree Sentinel, the only other Titan class that heals on melee kills, where the heal and overshield provide a team benefit as well, since the class no longer loses out on range compared to Striker. This leaves one final option for one-shot melee builds, and I think it's going to be the new way to go. Winter's Guile exotic arms on Warlock seem to give a greater increase to melee damage than Wormgod Caress, allowing for any follow-up melees to kill with just one stack. Paired with Devour, you get instant full health at the cost of having to pay more attention to keeping the perk active. This health can't be instantly cancelled by any hit like Titan Regen can, and can be triggered on weapon kills as well when the situation calls for it. In addition, the class has access to Blink for movement that's harder to track. But this build also got a bit of a nerf too, now that Warlocks have the same base melee range as other classes. For the record, I don't consider chaining throwing hammers or throwing knives to be in the same category as any of these one-shot melee builds, as they deal with projectiles and not base melees. In conclusion, I'm sad to see my favorite build, one that I have been using since I moved to PC before the release of Shadowkeep, and has gotten progressively less and less viable in the meta, be destroyed in such a fashion, and I hope one day I'll find that space magic again.